Welcome back to the Rooted Wild podcast. I'm Katherine Winkles, your host, a certified recreation therapist, and this space exists to help you build a life that supports your nervous system through nature, movement, creativity, rest, pacing, and compassionate self-understanding. This is the first episode of Season 2, and we're starting with something foundational: nervous system literacy for real life. Not in a clinical way that's overwhelming, but in a practical, embodied, usable way. Because when you understand how your nervous system works, you stop blaming yourself for stress responses and start building tools that actually support healing. This episode is especially for anyone navigating chronic stress, chronic pain, trauma history, burnout, neurodivergence, or simply feeling exhausted by a world that asks too much. Let's begin. Before we dive into the science, let's ground together. Wherever you are, see if you can place your feet on the floor or your body into a supportive surface. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Pause gently. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Again, inhale. Pause. And exhale. Now just notice. What does your body feel like right now? Where do you feel tension, comfort, neutrality, or fatigue? What does your nervous system need? Stimulation, soothing, movement, rest, quiet, connection? No fixing, just noticing. This awareness is actually the first step of nervous system regulation. So why does nervous system literacy matter? Most of us were taught to push through stress, to ignore our bodies, to treat burnout as a personal failure, to see rest as weakness, and to believe emotions are something to control rather than understand. But neuroscience tells a different story. Your nervous system is not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. Every stress response, anxiety, shutdown, numbness, hypervigilance, exhaustion, and irritability is your nervous system attempting to keep you safe based on past experiences, current input, and perceived threat. When we lack nervous system literacy, we blame ourselves for reactions we didn't choose, try to think our way out of stress responses, push harder instead of regulating, or override limits until collapse. But when we understand what's happening internally, we gain self-compassion, predictability, choice, and tools that actually work. This episode is about helping you decode your nervous system and build a more supportive relationship with your body. Let's start with the basics. Your autonomic nervous system regulates things you don't consciously control, like your heart rate, breathing, digestion, immune response, hormones, muscle tension, energy levels, and emotional reactivity. It has two main branches: sympathetic, which focuses on mobilization for activation, stress, action, and the parasympathetic, which is more about restoration, rest, digest, repair. But modern neuroscience, particularly polyvagal theory, helps us understand the system more accurately through 3 functional states. First up, we have the ventral vagal for regulation and safety. You feel calm, present, connected, you can think clearly, you can engage socially, you have flexible energy, and you feel okay enough to function. Next up is your sympathetic for mobilization and survival. This is where we identify fight or flight, anxiety, panic, restlessness, irritability, urgency, racing thoughts, hyperfocus or overwhelm, and increased heart rate and muscle tension. And third, your dorsal vagal for shutdown and conservation. This is where you're more likely to see freeze, collapse, withdrawal, fatigue, numbness, dissociation, brain fog, low motivation, and feeling disconnected or heavy. None of these states are bad. They're adaptive survival responses, shaped by evolution, experience, trauma, stress, illness, pain, and context. Your nervous system constantly shifts between these states, sometimes multiple times a day, based on perceived safety or threat. Healing doesn't mean staying regulated all the time. Healing means recognizing your state, understanding why it's happening, having tools to move toward safety when needed, and not shaming yourself when you can't. Stress responses aren't choices, they're reflexes. Now here's something important. You don't choose your stress response. Your nervous system chooses it for you in milliseconds. Long before your thinking brain gets involved, your nervous system is scanning for tone of voice, facial expressions, sensory input, pain levels, fatigue, hunger, temperature, past experiences, and environmental cues. Then it decides, am I safe? Do I need to mobilize? Do I need to conserve? And your body responds accordingly. This is why you can't logic your way out of panic. You can't force yourself out of shutdown. You can't just calm down. And you can't think your way out of a trauma response. Regulation happens through the body, not the intellect alone. This is also why shame doesn't heal stress responses. Understanding does. How stress becomes chronic. In short bursts, stress responses are adaptive. But when stress becomes constant, unpredictable, relational, pain-related, trauma-based, illness-driven, financial, social, and environmental, the nervous system gets stuck in chronic activation or shutdown. Over time, this contributes to chronic pain sensitization, fatigue syndromes, sleep disruption, digestive issues, immune dysregulation, anxiety and depression, burnout, and emotional dysregulation. Not because you're weak, but because your body has been working overtime to protect you. This is where nervous system resilience comes in, not as toughness, but as capacity to return to safety more easily and more often. Regulation versus resilience. What's the difference? Let's define 2 terms that you'll hear often. Regulation is the ability to return to a felt sense of safety after stress, and resilience is the nervous system's growing capacity to move between states flexibly without getting stuck. Resilience doesn't mean never getting stressed, never crashing, never struggling, and never feeling anxious. Resilience really means recovering faster, needing less effort to regulate, trusting your body more, knowing what helps, experiencing fewer extremes, and feeling safer inside yourself. And resilience is trainable through repeated experiences of safety, co-regulation, movement, play, rest, creativity, connection, pacing, and nervous system support, which is exactly where recreation therapy comes in. Nervous system literacy in daily life. Let's bring this into real life. Nervous system literacy means recognizing your state, naming it without judgment, and choosing appropriate support. Instead of, "What's wrong with me?" you ask, "What state am I in?" Instead of, "I need to push through," you ask, "What does my nervous system need right now?" Instead of, "I'm lazy," you ask, "Am I dysregulated or depleted?" Instead of, "I should be able to handle this," you ask, "Is my system overloaded?" This shift alone reduces stress because your nervous system feels understood instead of attacked. Practical signs for recognizing your states. Let's walk through what each state can feel like, not clinically, but practically. First, you have your regulated ventral state. You might notice steady breathing, clear thinking, emotional flexibility, social ease, ability to problem solve, a sense of okayness, capacity for joy or calm, even physical ease. In your mobilized or sympathetic state, you might notice racing thoughts, restlessness, tight chest or jaw, irritability, panic, overworking, overstimulation, difficulty sleeping, urgency, or even feeling wired but tired. And finally, you have your shutdown or your dorsal state. You might notice fatigue, numbness, brain fog, withdrawal, heaviness, emotional flatness, disconnection, lack of motivation, feeling checked out, or just wanting to isolate. Again, none of these are moral failures, they're nervous system states. So let's talk about matching tools to nervous system states. This is one of the most important concepts in regulation. Different nervous system states require different tools. What helps anxiety might worsen shutdown, and what helps shutdown might overstimulate anxiety. So let's talk about state-matched regulation. When you're activated in fight or flight, your nervous system has too much energy. The goal is to discharge activation and restore safety. Helpful strategies can include slow, extended exhales, walking, gentle stretching, rocking or shaking out your limbs, rhythmic movement, listening to calm music, humming or singing, warm beverages, deep pressure like using a weighted blanket or self-hugs, and orienting to the room, going back to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, so on and so forth. From a recreation therapy lens, I recommend engaging in any of these activities and monitoring for a shift in your nervous system response. Nature walks, swimming, cycling, gardening, yoga, dancing, tai chi, gentle games, and even sensory play. When you're shut down and freeze or collapse, your nervous system is conserving energy. The goal is to gently increase activation without overwhelm. Helpful strategies include addressing light exposure, warmth, gentle movement, music with rhythm, soft textures, holding something warm, sitting upright, opening windows, small achievable tasks, and low stimulation social connection. Again, from the recreation therapy lens, this would include activities such as art making, crafting, coloring, cooking, nature sitting, sun exposure, gentle walking, listening to music, and creative journaling. When you're regulated, it's a little different. The goal is to build capacity and resilience. Helpful strategies may include these types of activities: playing, learning, social connection, creative flow, meaningful activity, nature immersion, exercise within capacity, skill building, and restorative leisure. This is when your nervous system flexibility grows, not during crisis, but during safety. Here's a simple framework you can use anytime. I call it SAFE: state, awareness, fit, and experiment. Number 1, state. What nervous system state am I in? Regulated, activated, or shut down? Number 2, awareness. What sensations, emotions, or thoughts tell me that? Number 3, fit. What kind of support fits this state? Soothing or activating? And 4, experiment. What is one gentle thing I can try right now? No fixing, no forcing, just experimenting. Again, that's state, awareness, fit, and experiment. This is nervous system literacy in action. Co-regulation matters more than self-regulation. One of the most important truths in neuroscience: we regulate best through connection, not isolation. From infancy, humans regulate through voice tone, facial expression, touch, rhythm, eye contact, and presence. Even as adults, co-regulation matters. This can look like talking to someone who feels safe, sitting near someone, walking together, being in shared space, listening to a calming voice, or even petting an animal. This is why therapy works. Group spaces heal. Nature feels regulating. Music helps. Podcasts help. And animals help. Your nervous system is wired for connection, not independence. And needing others doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. So, nervous system literacy and chronic pain. Chronic pain is not in your head, but pain processing does occur in the nervous system. When the nervous system is chronically activated, pain thresholds lower, sensory input feels louder, recovery takes longer, fatigue increases, and emotional resilience decreases. This is why rest doesn't always feel restorative. Movement sometimes increases symptoms. Stress worsens pain. Sleep doesn't always help. And burnout worsens everything. Nervous system support doesn't replace medical care, but it can reduce pain amplification, increase resilience, and support functional capacity. Which is why recreation therapy focuses on adaptive activity, meaningful engagement, sensory regulation, pacing, identity restoration, leisure access, and nervous system safety, not as distractions, but as treatment tools. Let's close with a short nervous system reset. You can do this seated, lying down, or standing. Place one hand on your chest and one on your abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Pause for 2. And exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Again, inhale 4. Pause 2. Exhale 6. Now gently look around your space and name 3 things you see, 2 things you hear, and 1 thing you can feel physically. Let your eyes soften and silently repeat, I am safe enough right now. My body is allowed to move at its own pace. I can listen instead of push. Notice any shift, however subtle. That's regulation. Nervous system literacy isn't about mastering your body. It's about befriending it. It's about shifting from what's wrong with me to what happened to me and what does my body need now. It's about replacing self-discipline with self-attunement, replacing pushing with pacing, replacing shame with understanding, and replacing force with safety. In this season, we'll keep building on this foundation, exploring trauma-informed movement, adaptive recreation, pain-informed wellness, sensory regulation, leisure access, identity, resilience, and sustainable living. If this episode helped you understand your body differently, save it, share it, or return to it when stress feels loud. And remember, your nervous system is not broken. It's adaptive, it's intelligent, and it's worthy of care. I'll see you in the next episode. In the meantime, head to our website, www.rootedwildretreats.com, or check us out on Instagram at rooted_wild_retreats for more content. Stay curious, stay rooted, and as always, stay wild.